Ooh, what up, though, fight fans? This is Kyle Collison for BodySlam.net and Knockouts and Three Counts. And I mean, as you can see, we've got quite the guest with us today. We've got the man who tells us all the time we're going to see him at the top. We've got Mr. Michael Chandler. How you doing, my man?
What's up, man? I'm doing great, man. Just living the dream.
Can't complain at all. First of all, shout out to Hiatus Tequila, which are the ones putting this all together. I mean, I guess that's as good a place as any to start. I got to say, when they told me that we were doing this interview to announce you doing a partnership with Hiatus Tequila, I never took you for a tequila guy. So tell me about that. First of all, how did this come to be? And let everybody know what's up.
Man, I am a tequila guy. Tequila has been my drink of choice for as long as I can remember. At first, I didn't like it when after I turned 21, it wasn't exactly my favorite drink because that was mainly, because there was not too many good ones on the market, if you will. I'm not going to say different brands and names or whatnot, but a lot of people's first experience with tequila is like a well tequila. But then when you start tasting some good ones, and then you start getting into different flavor profiles, where they're from, what the distillery is, highlands, lowlands, all these different types of agaves or regions of agaves. Man, I kind of started to become kind of a tequila nerd about it. And then about a little over a year ago, my friend introduced me to Hiatus Tequila. And then I tried it and loved it, absolutely loved it. But I wanted more of it. I didn't want just more of it on my shelf. I wanted to be involved with it more. So I bought more of it, passed it around to all my friends. They said it was the best tequila they had ever had. And then I got in touch through a friend of mine to our founder, Christopher DeSoto. And I knew after the first conversation that I had with him, man, his passion behind why he created Hiatus, what Hiatus means to him, making tequila for tequila, people making tequila the way it was intended to be, pure, authentic, the craftsmanship behind it, the heritage, the culture behind it. And we're very much equally yoked, right? I'm not the loudest and the flashiest fighter out there, but I stay true to myself. And when the cage door closes, I go out there and I fight with reckless abandon. So it was the perfect synergy, and I made an investment into the company, and I am now part owner of Hiatus Tequila with our founder Christopher DeSoto.
That's dope to hear, and to hear a little bit of the backstory behind it as well. So that leads the next question. Okay, so when we're drinking tequila, what kind of tequila drinker are we? Are you a guy who likes to mix them up? Are we going straight tequila? What's the drink of choice when it comes to Hiatus Tequila?
Man, obviously we love, there's so many different mixologists out there and so many great bartenders out there who can do cool off the wall experimentation. So I do love me a good tequila cocktail, a good Hiatus cocktail. But luckily, every great tequila starts with a great Blanco, and our Blanco is a great sipping Blanco. I like to sip the Blanco on the rocks, maybe an orange twist. And I know our founder, Chris DeSoto, he likes to drink it neat. So room temperature. So I like a little bit of chill to it, but I like to sip the Blanco. I love to sip our Reposado and sip our Añejo as well. Our Reposado is the Blanco aged 6 months in barrels, and then our Añejo is 12 months in barrels. But if I had it my way, Hiatus on the rocks, that's my drink of choice.
When you're drinking tequila, though, is there something for you that sticks out that you like in particular, not just with Hiatus, but when you're drinking in general? Because for me, I've always been somebody, I drink a lot. For me, I'll drink a lot of beer, or I like something that's got a little bit of taste to it. So I'll usually mix it up with something. For you, is there something that sticks out when you get a drink that says, yo, I like this one?
Yeah, and I don't want to sit here and toot Hiatus's horn, and sit here and make this a big, Hiatus in your face, but just like anything in life, there are different levels to the quality and the process, right? So I actually, a month or so ago, went down to La Cofradía, our distillery, and it's awesome, right? We saw the process of Hiatus, how Hiatus was made. We saw the agaves in the traditional ovens, the hornos, and then watched them go on the conveyor belts, be crushed, the fermentation tanks, the entire process, right? And every tequila that they distill there at La Cofradía goes through that process, but then there's one room at the very end, and it's called the rectification room. And there's these big stainless steel cauldrons or vats, and that's where you put the liquid, and you can add or subtract whatever you want, right? And the thing that sets us apart is you get that smooth finish without any kind of flavors. I mean, there's not to name names, but there's tequilas out there that they're adding certain flavors. You can taste certain notes that you're not supposed to taste traditionally in agave spirits. They add glycerin, or they add other different kind of rectification processes that makes the tequila more palatable, because they don't wait for the full ripening of the actual pepinas, the actual agave plant itself. So we wait till ours are 100% mature, so you get that really good taste, smooth finish, agave forward. So I'm excited for you to try it. Where are you? Or you're in Michigan? We are.
I'm in Detroit. Yep.
Yeah, we're not in Michigan quite yet, but we do deliver to 44 states on hiatus.com.
I will actually be in Tampa though for the Royal Rumble. So I mean,
we are in Florida. We are in Florida, so definitely look up. If you go to our website, you can do the Find Hiatus near me. And I was in Florida last week. I go to Indiana tomorrow to visit a couple accounts, so it's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be dope, man. Well, speaking of Tampa and us being there for the Royal Rumble, man, you know, I had brought it up at the beginning of the interview with, you know, you always using the line, we'll see you at the top. A lot of the stuff I've heard you say in the cage, to me, with our show being both pro wrestling and combat sports, I mean, it gets some pro wrestling influence. So you got to tell me, is Mike Chandler a wrestling fan at all? Is there any influence in that in these post-fight interviews?
Man, I got to be honest, I'm not the biggest pro wrestling fan. I did watch it a lot growing up. I kind of loosely follow it these days, and I have a ton of respect for the sport itself, the entertainment value, and what these guys and gals do on a daily basis, and the little tidbits that us MMA fighters can kind of pull from, right? You know, there's a couple different types of fighters, you know, and one of those types of fighters is the big, larger than life type of character who creates this character and creates this kind of this mask, if you will, just like a WWE character, just like a WWE wrestler. I'm friends with Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page. Those were a couple of the guys that I really watched growing up big time. And just to see the way that they're able to wrestle with so much passion, and then also captivate the hearts and minds of people and make them feel something. So yeah, my post-fight speeches, I want to be able to get it as much as I possibly can into that microphone and scream it at the top of my lungs. And lo and behold, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm sitting here in the midst of, about to start training for this Conor McGregor fight, because I called him out, called everybody out, gave a hat tip to Ric Flair in my first post-fight speech when I was back in January of 2021, I believe that was, the greatest day of my professional life. So now, yeah, I got a ton of respect for those guys, and I watch it whenever I'm able to catch it. And I did go to WrestleMania here, or SummerSlam here in Nashville a year or so ago.
Nice, man. That's always fun to hear. I had to ask that because, like I said, obviously being a wrestling guy along with combat sports, it's one of the first things that pops out. Speaking of that, and speaking of the combat sports side of things, you talked about getting ready for training for Conor. I mean, how are you feeling with all that stuff? I mean, I got to interview a buddy of mine from at home who was actually on Conor's team against you guys, Mondo Gutierrez, who just stepped back into the cage for Fury FC. What were your thoughts on that experience, and how are you feeling getting ready to start training, like you said, for this fight?
Number one, I love my man Mondo. Mondo is so awesome, man. One of those guys that I was definitely like, man, after I got to know him a little bit more, I loved my team. I loved my 8 guys, but there was definitely those certain guys that I was like, man, I wish he was on my team. I wish I would have been able to spend a little bit more time with him. But Mondo was awesome. So I was happy to hear that he got, booked again. And he'll obviously be doing phenomenal. But so that experience was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed, like I said, I loved my 8 guys, but even getting to know Mondo, even getting to know some of these other guys from the other team, because we were all, 16 guys there, plus me and the coaching staff, and then Conor and his coaching staff. It really was a fun experience. And then obviously that started building toward the momentum of me and Conor getting booked for this fight. And it's not booked yet. But Conor is my next opponent. I am his next opponent. It's only a matter of time before it gets announced. But that was a fun experience, man. And what a great platform for Mondo and everybody else. But if you talk to Mondo, man, tell him I said I miss him, and tell him to reach out.
I will definitely make sure that hopefully he heals up soon after his last fight with Fury FC, man. Definitely a big El Toro fan here. With that said, man, you know, another thing that's been big and on everybody's lips lately, and a lot of people on both Body Slam and Knockouts and 3 Counts have been talking about, is another guy who you know very well because you guys have stepped into the cage on multiple occasions, and that's Eddie Alvarez, who just scrapped with Mike Perry over the weekend. Have you gotten to check out any of the bare knuckle stuff, and what do you think? Because, man, you've been in some wars, and, man, was that fight one of those.
I have been in some wars, man, two with Eddie to be exact, and ton of respect for Eddie. I'm a fan of Eddie. I love what he is doing. And then, yeah, I did watch this last one. I bought the pay-per-view. I've bought a lot of those bare knuckle pay-per-views. It's definitely something I like to watch. The fact that these guys go in there, bare knuckle, no gloves, the cuts and the blood that happens with the first strike that lands, you know, it's crazy. And then obviously Eddie, I wish him a well recovery or a fast recovery with his face kind of being broken up. So what bare knuckle is doing, man, it's intriguing. It's fun to watch. We all want to watch it because it's crazy and it's exciting. Eddie's a warrior. Mike Perry has become a superstar over there at bare knuckle. So it's cool to see him having success. So yeah, man, I watch bare knuckle almost every time it's on, and it's a fun thing to watch. And my hat goes off to Eddie because he is one of the most violent guys that we will ever see in the sport of mixed martial arts.
Can't argue that at all, man. He looked great in round one. Also, shout out to one of our guys from here in Michigan, Esteban Rodriguez, picking up another win on that card, man. It was a hell of a night. Shout out to Dave Feldman and the guys over at BKFC. With that said, you know, you talked a little bit about the flamboyant personalities that we're seeing more in the UFC and things like that now. There's really nobody else that you can really talk about that in the same way with, like, a guy like Colby Covington. He's getting ready to step in there with Leon Edwards. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I agree with what Dana said, you know, a year or so ago when he said essentially if Kamaru Usman was not in the UFC, Colby Covington would be champion right now. You know, Colby, every single time he steps in there, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a tough guy. He's durable. He's got a motor like no other. Leon Edwards, I got to be honest with you, I thought it was a fluke when he knocked out Kamaru the first time, and I thought he was going to come back and get dominated by Kamaru, but obviously he beat Kamaru. So I think Leon has a newfound self-belief in himself, but if I had to be a betting man, which I'm not, I would say that I would lean toward Colby. Just I think he has more tools. I think he has more ways to win. Leon's not going to be able to stop the takedown. I believe he's not going to be able to handle the pace of Colby. And I don't think Leon's going to get kind of that lucky head kick like he got against Kamaru.
It's definitely going to be a tough fight, man. I mean, that guy's definitely been around the title picture for a minute, meaning Colby. And I mean, shout out to Leon and what he's done. It's definitely a fight that I'm looking forward to see. But like we talked about at the top of the show, we're here to talk about Hiatus Tequila. So as we head into 2024, for anybody who's new to Hiatus Tequila, let them know what they can expect and what's in the plans for Michael Chandler in 2024.
Well, so you can check us out at hiatustequila.com and also shop hiatustequila.com to find out where it is at. Use a store locator to the markets that we are in. I head to Indiana tomorrow to go do some signings and stuff at liquor stores, and we're doing VIP events and stuff. I was in Florida last week. We just opened up in Tennessee, just got approved in Tennessee. I believe Nevada is going to be next, and that'll be coming soon. So we're just going to kind of slowly spread throughout the entire country. And we are not going to stop until people try Hiatus Tequila. We get it in all the glasses around the entire country and prove once and for all that we have a very, very phenomenal and I believe superior tequila to most that is in the market. And our founder, Christopher DeSoto, this was his vision. He started it, he built it, and I am just here to perpetuate it and help get it in as many glasses as possible. So 2024, especially, we hit the ground running, and obviously leading up to this fight is going to be a nice big platform for us to spread the awareness. And I'm excited about it because I love the product. I love the juice inside of the bottle, but I love the people behind it.
You heard it here first, man. Well, Michael Chandler, man, we appreciate the time. This is bodyslam.net. I am Kyle, Detroit Knockout from Knockouts and 3 Counts. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you check out Hiatus Tequila and have a good 2024.